In this video, we're going to talk about where these Premier League clubs were 10 years ago. So before starting, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for future updates. This year in the Premier League, Manchester City and Arsenal are engaged in a back-and-forth struggle for first place. After these top two teams, the battle for slots in the UEFA Champions League will be waged among Manchester United, Tottenham, and Newcastle. Who exactly will take home the coveted championship this year, and which teams will finish in the top 4 spots? Now, a very powerful computer has made a prediction that at the end of the Premier League season, none of Arsenal, Chelsea, or Tottenham would be in their current positions in the rankings. According to a report that was published on football.in, Arsenal rose back to the top of the standings after a thrilling victory over Aston Villa. However, Manchester City suffered a defeat at the hands of Nottingham Forest. In a manner analogous to that of Arsenal, Tottenham had a troublesome run of play that was brought to an end in the London Derby against West Ham. Spurs moved into the top 4 for the first time since the opening day of the new year as a direct result of Newcastle's defeat at the hands of Liverpool and the points that they themselves conceded to Liverpool. Nevertheless, things got worse for Graham Potter and Chelsea before they got better when they lost to a Southampton team who didn't have a manager when they played at Stamford Bridge. The Blues have now lost 4 consecutive league games, and there's been growing calls for Potter to be fired as the team's manager. According to the supercomputer that's accessible through bonus code bets on my betting sites, despite Arsenal's victory on Saturday and City's failure to get 3 points, City is still one of the favorites to win the Premier League title this season. This prediction was made using bonus code bets. It's likely that the two things that the Spurs want most for the 2022-23 season are to win a trophy and qualify for European competition for a second year in a row. Due to the fact that Manchester United has put some distance between itself and the other top 4 teams, the race for 4th place is likely to be decided soon. In addition to Liverpool and Chelsea, the teams of Newcastle, Fulham, and Brighton are considered to be underdogs that have the potential to pose a significant challenge to Antonio Conte's squad. Who are the favorites to win the Premier League? The Premier League championship for each of the past 5 seasons has been split between 2 different clubs. The majority of those, 4, have been claimed by Manchester City, who are aiming to become only the 2nd team in the history of the Premier League to successfully defend their title 3 consecutive times. This accomplishment, which has escaped Pep Guardiola's squad on multiple times, was accomplished twice by Manchester United under the great leadership of Sir Alex Ferguson. City was pushed to their limits last season and needed to post their 3rd highest point total to fend off Liverpool, who are expected to once again be their greatest threat. In order to do this, City needs to earn their 3rd highest points total. The team, managed by Jurgen Klopp, came agonizingly close to achieving a quadruple, which would have never been done before. The Reds have finished in 3rd place or higher in each of the previous 4 seasons, averaging 89.25 points each campaign. Included in this run was a championship that ended the club's 30-year wait to be English football's #1 team. This is a recognition that Manchester United would like to earn once more. With Erik ten Hag at the helm, the club is once again in the thick of things amongst the contenders for the crown. But it's Arsenal that's displayed the strongest ambition to win the FA Cup, which is the most prestigious trophy in the English football. The Gunners are now setting the pace at the top of the league, and they're playing some sparkling football to boot. The Arsenal have only lost 3 games so far this season. In order to dethrone Marc Arteta's group of rising stars and remove them of their current position of dominance, it's going to take a lot of work. Who are the most popular candidates? Ivan Toney scored the game-winning goal in stoppage time to give Brentford a victory that was otherwise unthinkable at Etihad Stadium, where Pep Guardiola's team had been playing in their final match before the World Cup. Arsenal was able to capitalize on their game in hand against Wolves and carve out a 5-point lead heading into the autumnal hiatus thanks to the relative giant killing that they accomplished. After a 3-1 victory over Leeds upon their return from the World Cup break, Man City was able to keep their lead at 5 points above Leeds. Since then, the reigning champions have had a shaky run of form, suffering losses to Everton and Nottingham Forest, as well as Man United and Tottenham, and dropping points against Everton and Nottingham Forest. Although Guardiola prevailed over Arteta in an important matchup at the Emirates, the Gunners have been able to keep their 5-point lead at the top of the table after 27 matches. It appears that the competition for this title will be decided in the final moments. Arsenal. This season, Arsenal has been dominant and they entered the new year atop the Premier League table. This is a scenario that's almost totally at odds with their dismissal start to the previous campaign, in which they lost their first 3 games. In point of fact, the Gunners have consistently given the impression that they're genuine title contenders during the course of the season, and despite a little setback in February, they're currently in prime position to win the championship. After suffering losses to Everton and City and a tie with Bournemouth, Arteta's team has now bounced back with consecutive victories against Aston Villa, Leicester, and the Toffees and Bournemouth, including scoring last-minute winners in both of the former and latter matches. These results have allowed Arsenal to maintain their lead over City by 5 points and keep them in the driver's seat. Man United. Would you believe it? Man United appeared to have a legitimate shot at being in the conversation about who would win the league in the latter stages of the competition, as they were quietly gaining ground on City and Arsenal. Man United was flying high and battling on 4 fronts thanks to Erik ten Hag, who orchestrated a victory in the EFL Cup, secured comeback victories against Barcelona and West Ham in the Europa League and the AF Cup respectively, and won the EFL Cup overall. But they may no longer have a chance to catch Arsenal after their team's most recent loss, which was a 7-0 shutout at the hands of their fiercest rivals, Liverpool. If they can get back on track and win the game they have remaining, they'll move to 13 points behind the Gunners, which means that not all is yet lost. In these last few months, we should anticipate even more unexpected flips and twists. Newcastle. There are perhaps still some Newcastle fans who have to pinch themselves to believe that their team is genuinely doing well enough to maintain a place in the top 6 of the Premier League. This season, the Newcastle Magpies have been outstanding, boasting the strongest defense in the Premier League while also losing less matches than any other team. The Magpies have only lost 3 times in the league so far this season, with those losses coming at the hands of Liverpool. Most recently, the Magpies' unbeaten streak of 17 games came to an end. As a result, they're currently 1 spot behind Tottenham, who are currently in 4th place with 2 games in hand. They would also be 16 points behind the leaders Arsenal if they won their games in hand. Thus, their chances of fighting for the title will be quite remote even if they were to do so. Premier League outright odds, other markets. There are a lot of other outright markets outside only betting on who will win the Premier League, in addition to wagering on a team to win the illustrious trophy. Many bookmakers allow customers to choose from a variety of alternative outcomes, including to finish top 4, to be relegated, to finish in the top half, without the big 6, and even player-specific outcomes, such as who will win in the PFA Player of the Year award and who will be the top scorer. What do you think about our video? Let us know in the comment section below. Please like the video and subscribe to our channel for more future updates. Thank you.